All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving deep into Matt Haig's massive bestseller, The Midnight Library. And, it's a book that really gets you thinking about one of life's biggest what ifs. What if you could just start over? So, to really set the stage, let's look at this quote from Sylvia Plath that Haig actually uses to kick off the whole novel. It just perfectly nails that feeling, right? That ache of wanting to be and do everything all at once. It's a feeling that sits at the very heart of this story. Okay, so let's jump in. We meet our protagonist, Nora Seed, at her absolute rock bottom. I mean, she is just drowning in this sea of regret, totally convinced her life has been a complete and utter failure. And check this out. In the last 27 hours of her life, everything just completely unravels. It's not even one big thing. It's this brutal, rapid-fire sequence of losses. Her cat dies, she gets fired, loses her only student. Each one is like another nail in the coffin, just reinforcing this horrible idea she has that she's worthless. Yeah, she literally sees herself as a black hole. Think about that. Not just a failure, but this destructive force in the universe, pulling everyone she cares about down with her. So in her mind, the only logical thing to do is to just remove herself from the equation. But that's not what happens. Instead of an ending, she wakes up somewhere else. A place that's not quite life, but not quite death either. It's this impossible in-between. So, right at the stroke of midnight, 0000, she finds herself in this incredible building. It's the Midnight Library. And the whole idea is this. It's a place between life and death. And every single book on the shelves is a chance to try another life you could have lived. It's a way to see what would have happened if you'd made different choices. Just try to picture this for a second. The shelves go on forever, filled with a literally infinite number of these green books. And each one isn't just a story. It's a portal to a whole other version of her life, one that spun off from some tiny decision she made years ago. And in this completely bizarre, overwhelming place, she sees a familiar face. It's Mrs. Elm, her old-school librarian. This kind, comforting figure from her past. And she's here to be her guide, to explain how this whole thing works. Okay, but it's not as simple as just grabbing a book and jumping in. Before she can try out any of these new lives, she has to do something really difficult first. She has to face the life she just ran away from. So Mrs. Elm presents her with this one heavy, gray book. And this is the Book of Regrets. It's basically a physical object that contains every ounce of pain, every bad feeling that led her to this point. And wow, opening it is just brutal. It's this whole list of everything she's ever agonized over. The big stuff like, not staying in her band or breaking up with her fiancé, but also the smaller nagging things like disappointing her dad or just regretting not being happy. It's all there. So here's how it works. Mrs. Elm lays out the rules, and they're actually pretty straightforward. First, you pick a regret from that big gray book. Then you find the green book that corresponds to the life where you didn't make that mistake. You open it, and poof, you're living in it. The catch? If you feel truly disappointed, you get zapped right back to the library. But, and this is the important part, if you find a life you genuinely, truly want, you get to stay. Forever. All right, so for her first go, Nora decides to tackle a big one of her heaviest regrets, leaving her fiancé, Dan, just before their wedding. She picks the book, opens it up, and boom, the library's gone. She's standing outside this cozy-looking pub, the Three Nags. She looks down, there's a wedding ring on her finger. This is it. The life they always talked about. But this is where it gets really interesting, right? The dream versus the reality. The fantasy was this charming country pub, this perfect partnership. But the reality? It's constant money problems. Dan's become distant. He's drinking way too much. And then the bombshell. He cheated on her. Twice. The life she regretted not having is, well, it's a mess. And when she finally calls him on it, his reaction says it all. He gets defensive, tries to downplay it, and it becomes crystal clear. Getting married didn't magically fix their problems. The cracks were always there. This life just created new, bigger ones. And as that perfect fantasy just completely shatters, she feels it. That critical feeling Mrs. Elm talked about, this deep, profound wave of disappointment just washes over her, and whoosh, The world fades away, and she's right back in the library, standing among the endless green books. So right away, her very first try at fixing her life has taught her something huge. And this really gets to the heart of the whole book, doesn't it? Erasing a regret doesn't just automatically equal happiness. We have this tendency to romanticize the roads not taken, thinking they would have been perfect. But the truth is, every single life has its own baggage, its own set of problems. So that's one life down out of an infinite number of possibilities. And what she's learned is that just removing a regret doesn't mean you've removed all struggle. Her search for a life she actually wants to live has really only just begun. And this leaves Nora, and us, really, with this massive question. If the life that looks perfect on paper isn't actually perfect in practice, then what's the real secret to being happy? What's the ingredient she's missing? So, as we leave Nora there in the library, about to pick another book, it's a question that kind of hangs in the air for all of us. If you could go back and undo your biggest regret, are you so sure it would actually make you happy?